You are listening to the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and, of course, our friends at the SensCentral Pub, the GCP, where the vibes are free. Head there for great food, awesome drinks, and oh yeah, the Sens shuttle. When they get back from this road trip, the bus will be grooving from 779 Bank Street to and from the CTC. Get your tickets at glebcentralpub.com. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Jack Richardson, and an exciting, thrilling, I may say, win. 3-2 the score. Sens kick off their road trip with a W. And Jack, I know it was a sigh of relief from everybody on the East Coast. There's been enough overtime this season. We didn't need one with a 10 p.m. start.
Enough overtime, but at least this was an edge of your seat kind of game, Ross. It wasn't one of those sleepy ones. The Sens kind of come out slow. This was high paced, a lot of action, and you and I know we've talked about it already this year. The Ducks are a fun team. They do a lot of that all season. They've been great. They were coming into tonight the second best team in the Western Conference, only behind the Colorado Avalanche. No slouch as an opponent. And the Sens came out ready to play, I thought. This was a great game. Obviously a big win. One that, again, we talked about it coming in. At the beginning of the season, you don't circle as a big win in November to start a road trip. You think maybe a bit easier, but the Ducks are a team, and that's an impressive game overall from the Sens.
A great game for the Ottawa Senators. They had a couple lulls. Didn't love the start of the third period. Shots were 6-1 at one point for Anaheim, but credit to the boys, man. They stuck with it and were able to get the victory. They scored first in this one. Nick Cousins from the ladies' tees, just putting one on net. I'd love to get the NHL edge tracker, how fast that one was, because he got all of that puck, centering freed from Nick Jensen after Dylan Cousins made a move through the offensive zone off the rush. Second period, Beckett Seneca makes it a tie game. That was a great play from Cutter Gauthier. Even though he kind of fanned on it, still made a great move. No chance for Allmark. Seneca scores on the back door. And then the 2-1 goal. Didn't love that one. It was 2 goals in a minute and 26 seconds. McTavish finishing off a rush pass from Kreider. Jensen late getting back after pinching in deep. But Ottawa, this is where I wanted to start. The big story in this game, and I had put 3 stars next to this when the power play started. There was 2.5 minutes left in the second period. You're down a goal on the road, and it's the second unit coming through. Stephen Halliday, stick taps for Stephen Halliday. First NHL game, first NHL point, and what a move from Shane Pinto for his 10th goal of the year. Felt like they needed that one so badly.
The power play was such a problem tonight overall, and yes, they get that one, so needed, but right before that, it's at the end of the period. I'm ready to talk in the intermission about the power play sucking the life out of their play at 5-on-5, because leading up to that call, Ross, or even one before they had a power play, the Sens had at least 5 grade A chances at even strength. They had the Ducks hemmed in for a minute and a half, dog tired in the second period, and they couldn't finish. And then the power play that they get because of that, they drew a penalty, was terrible. They didn't generate anything. They lost momentum. The Ducks get momentum. Then their 2 goals happen. But that goal from Pinto doesn't happen without that pass from Stephen Halliday. Just a beautiful, beautiful setup. Obviously did not play a ton tonight in his first NHL game. I don't actually know if he saw the ice after that play. I'd be shocked if he had a shift in the third period. He was at about 5 minutes of ice time tonight. But credit to the Sens for putting him on the power play, because clearly a player who is going to thrive in offensive situations. And too often you see a call up like that, even though he is a bit of an older player. Let's say he's 23 years old, not a kid by any means compared to the rest of the team, but knowing he'll thrive in that situation. There's other guys that could have been on that second power play. They throw Halliday out there, and it benefits them with a great feed, just awesome patience on the transition, which is where the Sens were having their biggest issues on the power play. And Pinto makes a nice move, and then we'll call it a nice bounce there, Ross, on the goal for Pinto.
Oh, great bounce. But I mean, he put himself in that position with the dangle to get it around Jackson Lacombe. So I give him full marks for that one. And Stephen Halliday did not play another shift after his game tying assist. Game tying assist at the end of the second period. And his shift before that was the one that they got the call on, Nick Cousins drawing a trip. And there was a part of me that thought he was going to get called for a dive there. I mean, he just got fined $2,000 by the NHL. It tapped him on the shins, and it was a great draw for the penalty.
He's
a great draw.
He's gonna have to watch that. He's gonna have to watch that. That's a storyline. I mean, yeah, you get fined that early. I know he got fined for some stuff in the playoffs. I don't think it was that. It was
No, it was shooting the puck at Stolar's pregame.
right. We're still thinking about Anthony Stolarz here on the postcast. Hoping he's all right from that play.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Nick Cousins got to watch that. But again, he's been pretty effective. That's what he does. He's that kind of player. It's just something you got to live with. Obviously, the Sens were okay with it, re-upping him this summer. But he's been productive, so you can't really fault him. It's when the production will dip off that you need that stuff to stop, I think.
So I wanted to lead with that because I don't think the third period plays out as a Senators win without that goal at the end of the second period by Shane Pinto. But everybody wants to dive in to the game-winning goal. Pucks on net and profit. That goal was a beautiful tip by Drake Batherson. Tied up in front of the net, just gets enough on it. And honestly, the shot from Sanderson, speaking of Stolar, speaking of the playoffs, gave me game 4 overtime vibes. Just a half wall shot right on the boards. And next thing you know, it's a game winner.
Yeah, he's so good at finding those lanes from that angle, I find, for Sanderson. I want to go a bit further back in that play, though, Ross. Tim Stützle. We've gone far enough into this postcast without mentioning the German.
Dancing
he was
tonight.
The best player on the ice tonight again. And that's, again, I'm going to go back to the Ducks. That's not a small feat given who was on the ice tonight. The Ducks are a firehouse or a powerhouse of offensively. And Stützle stood out. Doesn't even appear on the score sheet tonight. And I thought that was one of his best games of the season. And I'm bringing him up because he wins that faceoff. He battles. I love seeing the way he's battled through faceoffs. His stats are great in the dot this season, but watching him battle with the linesman and kind of complain and set his feet down, he looks like Giroux in there, man. It's exactly the same way. It's absolutely rubbing off on him. He digs in, wins a huge offensive faceoff, and that play doesn't happen if he doesn't do that. And he's just a perfect example of his game evolving in an area that really, like, you can't teach and you can't get better at until you play in the league for a long time. And we're finally starting to see Tim Stützle grow into a whole other player right now.
And you brought up his penalty killing as well. Like, he created so many looks. Like, it was incredible to see the game Tim Stützle had. It's a shame that he didn't factor in on the scoreboard tonight because he was all over the ice. We'll get to more SensCentral standouts later. We've also got a boots on the ground report. Gavin's going to jump on from Anaheim to discuss what he saw in this game, but huge way to end this one with and it was off of kind of like not a nothing play. Like you mentioned, it was good by Stützle there, but it wasn't like the rush chances that so much of this game was about, both Ottawa's first and you wouldn't say second goal because Halliday stopped up. Great job, by the way, for Halliday of slowing the pace down. One of the things he does best in his one, head up and finds Pinto. So that wasn't a rush necessarily, but it was still off the entry and then the next pass. Both Anaheim goals came off the rush in this game as well. So for that to be the game winner was awesome. It was also going to take a tip to beat Peter Mrazek. We got to give stick taps where it's due. Hashtag goalie friendly show. Mrazek made so many grade A saves tonight, including that one in the third period on Pinto, where it was a great passing effort from Giroux on a breakaway, but where he didn't have enough speed, thought he was going to get caught, and he saw there were two men attacking him. So drop pass to Amadio, sends it over to Pinto, and just a phenomenal blocker save. What'd you think of Mrazek's performance in tonight's game?
He was crazy. I mean, he's the reason it was such a tight game there down the stretch. Obviously, the Ducks ended up pushing, but that second period could have been a 4-0 game, and it wouldn't have been crazy with the way that the Sens came out. Dylan Cousins, that is, should have had at least 3 with the looks that he generated for himself tonight. That's a whole other story we'll get into maybe if we do a little around the horn for SensCentral standouts in a little bit here. But yeah, Mrazek was awesome. But not to be outdone, Ross, I'll bring up Linus Ullmark. I think he's found his game. It's another game well over 900 save percentage. Doesn't really have a chance on the 2 goals against rush plays. And he was solid all night, I thought. I think he was tracking the puck way better. He stood tall. What I liked about Ullmark, I know we'll get into this maybe a bit after with the boots on the ground report too, but that play with Gudas at the end of the third period, like towards the end of the game, Radko Gudas was running around tonight, and he does that all the time, but there was no policeman out there with Tkachuk or McDermott, so he was having fun. His snow job in Ullmark's face was outrageous, and the whole team, pack mentality, no one puts their arms up, don't want a penalty at that time. I liked how Ullmark got in there again, just kind of showed like the Ullmark was locked in, being able to battle through that. You're a goalie. How does getting snowed in the face feel and having to shake that off for the next whistle?
You know what? Part of it actually fires you up because you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to let him do that and then score, right? Like that way, then it looks bad. You want to kind of shove it right back in their face. And I get it. You're not going to take the unnecessary penalty of going over the line in that situation late in a tie game, but still, like, that was ridiculous. Like, did the ref not think that Gudas could control himself going that fast? Because he was flying up the ice. Like, he did have a head of steam.
It should have been a penalty on Gudas if you're calling that, but in that time, I think there was 6, 7
You're not
minutes
calling
left.
that late in the third.
Not calling that, but I love what the Sens did because they showed that they did not like it at all. I think Sanderson and Perron got right in his face right after, but you don't do anything that's worthy of a penalty. Just you let them know, and then there's ways to do that. I thought that was great because you can obviously just skate away and look like you don't care. It just speaks to the pack mentality that the Sens have.
Side note, one of the funniest Dean Brown, Gord Wilson moments I've ever heard on TSN 1200 is a game where Gudas touched the puck, and then Gord just out of nowhere says, well, Gudas spent his summer finger painting in caves. Well, that's just the kind of guy. He just looks like this guy just lives in a cave, and they wake him up and rattle it and let him out for game time. But yeah, I didn't like that play at all, and Ottawa gets the last laugh with the victory tonight. 3-2 the final score. Tonight saw a shot edge for Ottawa in the first period, 10-3. And after that, it was very even to the point where Anaheim's 6-1 run at the start of the third period made this one almost dead even. Shots 26-25 in favor of Anaheim. Sens get that second period power play goal, only extra man goal of the night, 1 for 3. Anaheim goes 0 for 2. Senators continue to dominate the faceoff dot, nearly 56%. Ottawa with 29 hits to Anaheim's 24. The Ducks blocked 19 shots. Ottawa gets credited with 11, although I would like to give Artem Zub's stick an extra block. The stick-on-stick contact prevented Beckett Seneca from tying this game in the final minute, and maybe we'll add that missed shot from Jackson Lacombe where his stick shattered on him also in the final minute as maybe a couple extra blocks there for Ottawa. The Sens, though, did control play at 5-on-5 with the expected goals percentage 57% in their favor. Okay, Boots on the Ground reports next. You're listening to the Postcast presented by Locked On Senators, your team every day. Today's Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Head there for great food, awesome drinks, and an atmosphere to match. Live music every Saturday night. No cover ever. Head there for a good time and a long time. Bring your friends, your family. Head there to watch the game or any of their great features throughout the week. I'm talking they got cheap tacos on Thursdays. They've got wing night every Monday, and open mic night if you want to go and sing, play, or just kick back and listen. Hang out at the Glebe Central Pub. You can find them walking distance from Lansdowne at 779 Bank Street. The Glebe Central Pub also offers round-trip service to and from the CTC for home games. $18 round trip. What a deal. And then you add in that Sue gets you there an hour and 15 minutes before the game is when you leave the pub, and then it brings you right back to the pub afterwards. So head where the vibes are free. It's the GCP, 779 Bank Street. And when you go, let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. The Postcast tonight is also brought to you by our very good friends over at Monarch. Are you looking to get more stable with your budget? Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all of our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401ks, savings, and investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. I use it, and I love it. It's great for doing things as a family as well, and I'm finding I'm saving more money. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL, and you'll get half off your first year. Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Jack Richardson. 250 plus sickos joining at 1:20 a.m. Eastern time. If you're in the chat, let us know where you're watching from, because I have a feeling this is worldwide wide. Senators, Ducks, feel the excitement. It's November of 2025. And Jack, a November where the Ottawa Senators are finding ways to accumulate points. Just 1 out of 8 games where they haven't gotten a point. They're now 4-1-3. Let's head to Anaheim, California, where we find Gavin Wood with the new alternate jersey. That thing still have its stickers on it or what?
It should be. I mean, it's pretty fresh still, but second game of wearing it so far this season. But
That's awesome. So are you from Anaheim or did you fly in for the game?
flew in for the game. I'm from Wisconsin.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Are you
wow.
following them through Cali or what?
Yep, going up to San Jose on Saturday and then coming back here for the LA game on Monday.
Nice.
All
Well,
right.
it was dressed like a seat night in Anaheim. What was the vibe in the building?
Oh man, it was a slow start. I'm going to contribute that to the rain though. I mean, I was so shocked when I went outside my hotel and it was downpouring. And I think a lot of people were around here, so there wasn't a lot of people at start, but once the third period came around, halfway through the game, seats were filling in pretty good.
Look, I mean, weather excuses are full in front in Ottawa. I don't know if rain. I don't know if Ducks fans are getting a pass in the rain with that kind of team. Have you made
Oh,
this trip
man.
before?
A palm
No.
tree fell in front of my car. I can't get there in time.
Exactly. Yeah, that California weather. So you haven't made this trip before. This is the first time out in California, Gavin?
Yeah, first time out here. The only Sens games I've been to actually are 2 Chicago games where they both lost. So first time kind of leaving Chicago, going to see the Sens around the country.
That's awesome, man. Bucket list items for sure. Did you run into
Absolutely.
any other Sens fans there?
Yeah, you guys would be surprised. I'd say there was probably about 40, 50 Sens fans there. There was a lot of people down by the bench in your warm-ups, and then just walking around the concourse, run into a good amount of Sens fans. All pretty nice people, and there's a big group all from Ottawa too. They came here last night, watched the Anaheim Boston game, and they stayed for this game. Then they're going to stay for the Kings game. About 7 guys all from Ottawa, so that was pretty cool. Running into them too.
That's awesome. So what was your impression of what you saw on the ice tonight, Gavin?
Oh man, first period, guys started pretty good. I thought the PK looked really good tonight, especially the first one. I don't think the Ducks had a shot on the first PK, so maybe that extended period of time where they were off, get some practices under the belts, maybe work on the systems a little bit, definitely helped. I thought Dylan Cousins looked great tonight. I know Timmy, obviously, he was flying around there. It was pretty obvious, but Dylan Cousins, a lot of pressure on the forecheck, set up. Was part of that first goal there for Cuz, right? And then I think he was just driving his line. Didn't really matter who the wingers were. I think there was a time where Eller and Hodgson were out with Cousins, and they were still, getting high danger opportunities. So I think Dylan Cousins had a great game tonight.
Yeah, that was the shift where Cousins missed from in tight and he looked
Yeah.
skyward. He's like, how did this happen? And then Ottawa parlayed that into the next shift. And that's where Giroux and Pinto both hit the post. They were
Yep.
buzzing on that
Yes.
shift. So is your SensCentral standout tonight then, Dylan Cousins, from what you saw?
Absolutely. I'm gonna have to give it to Dylan Cousins.
Yeah, I like that too. Cousins finishes tonight with 17 minutes, 43 seconds. He gets the 1 assist, 6 shots on goal, and 3 hits. And the broadcast pulled it up 3 minutes into the second period. He had already had 4 shots, 3 hits, an assist in 6 minutes and 47 seconds. So he came ready to go tonight and was flying. So we loved to see that. What'd you think of Linus Ullmark tonight, Gavin?
He was great. Just made the saves he needed to make. I think at the end there, especially that 6-on-5 was a little hectic at the end there. I don't know. I couldn't really tell from the stands. Was he going for a goalie goal at the end there?
I'm glad you brought that up.
100%.
He
Okay,
even
good.
changed
That's
the
what I
angle
thought.
up.
Yep.
Yeah, he got it to center ice, but just not quite there.
Yep. I mean, it's all encouraging to see, right? A slower start for Ullmark to start the year, but last 4 games, I think he's been above a 900. So that's exactly what this team needs out of him.
And we need Sens fans like you who are going to put on the jersey, get on a plane, and go cheer the boys on in Southern California. Gavin, we're going to continue to follow your trip throughout Cali and excited to see what is in store next after an awesome game for you to witness. People can follow you as well on social media on Twitter, Gavin__Wood. Gavin, thanks for the insight, man, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me on. It's an honor.
There he goes. Gavin Wood, boots on the ground report from Southern California. I love that.
Cali trip's a hell of a way to see some more Sens games. I think he said Chicago was the only other one that he'd been
I
to
guess
out
that's
in
the closest
Wisconsin.
one to where he's from in Wisco.
It's a
Yeah.
great trip. I think that's one that most Sens fans probably don't make from the East Coast because it's so far, right? But if you're Midwest, then that's a pretty decent one to hitch a ride on. So hopefully gets to see some good games.
If you're in the northern portion of the Midwest and it's starting to turn temperature wise, but sorry, little rain in Orange County. Can't make it to the game. Our team is the best home team in the NHL, but sorry, can't make it. Brutal. I was shocked, man. I even asked on Twitter at SensCentral, I said, was this a 10 o'clock start in Anaheim too? What's going on?
Attendance talk isn't sexy if you're not talking about the Sens or I guess the Jets or any Canadian team struggling with that, because clearly it's not unique to some other markets. Not even that Ottawa's got attendance problems, but it does hurt seeing that kind of stuff with such a good team in Anaheim, man. Ross, like I was blown away. They're a very good team. They're very big, fast. The way their defense moved the puck is impressive. So I think sitting back later in the year, this is going to be one of those wins for the Sens. We look back on it and say that was one of the bigger ones of the season. That was a great effort tonight.
Really glad you brought that up because I wanted to get into how Ottawa was able to match the speed of Anaheim. And I felt like, especially in the first period of tonight's game and going into the second, it felt like the Senators were able to get sticks on pucks defensively. Obviously, we know that Michael Amadio is a lead at it. He was in this game as well, forcing turnovers. And I felt like the Senators just did a good job of forcing turnovers all over the ice and taking advantage when they were able to give themselves enough to get the win tonight. If the chat wants to get in on it, Jack's computer just died. So we're just chatting about a 3-2 win. Lots to get into. And where I was actually going to go in the meantime, where Jack mentioned like the speed of this Ducks team, they've got that second quote unquote line of Leo Carlson. Well, they played the most together tonight. It wasn't meant to be this. And it was a bit split between Leo Carlson and Mason McTavish centering that line. But with Carlson, Gauthier, and Seneca, like the oldest guy is 23 years old. And you got the elder statesman there at 23 in Cutter Gauthier. And he was a menace tonight. It felt like Cutter Gauthier, every time that he was doing something, there was a dangerous look. Jack, I was just talking about how Anaheim's line there, they kind of split it with Carlson and McTavish at center, but the winger combo of Cutter Gauthier and Beckett Seneca were buzzing tonight. They've got speed, hands, shooting. Feels like in 2 or 3 years, that could be one of the top lines in the league.
I think it already is, Ross. They're already up there. That's what's crazy. Like they've just hit the switch in Anaheim. Like all their young guys kind of took a step right away. And they're sustaining it. It's not just a hot streak. Beckett Seneca, especially, like he got a lot of heat on his draft day. I know you got that picture of him saved up because it's all time, like his reaction to getting picked third. But he's proving why. He's a lanky, rangy guy who's just going to grow into his size. I think he's second now in rookie points out of nowhere. But yeah, that's an impressive team. And I actually want to use this discussion with the Ducks and how impressive they were. Talk about my first SensCentral standout, if we can get that going right now.
That's called a tease in the business. We'll get to our SensCentral standouts next. Recap tonight's game, and I'll get Jack's thoughts heading into the weekend. Sens in San Jose on Saturday night. That's next. You're listening to the postcast presented by Locked On Senators. Today's episode is brought to you by Rougiette. Now, let's be honest. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before, whether it's just happening to everyone every once in a while. I'm not in the mood. I'm tired. Well, when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. It's easy to get started. You connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online. Forget those awkward waiting rooms. If prescribed, it'll ship discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rougiette.com/LockedOnNHL. You'll get 15% off your first order just like that. That's Rougiette.com/LockedOnNHL. RUGIET.com. Don't forget to use our promo code LOCKEDONNHL so they know that we sent you. Rougiette, stop making excuses and start making moves. Tonight's postcast also brought to you by FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book, and the NHL's so back, there's no better way to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. Even if you missed the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a bigger shot at bigger payouts. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making a late push, like scoring with less than 2 minutes left to win the game. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to the postcast. I'm Ross Levitan. That is Jack Richardson. We have passed 1:30 a.m. Eastern time, and we got a worldwide chat going here. I'm seeing New Zealand, Jack. I'm seeing Mannheim. We've got Tim Stutzla's alma mater, DEL team, represented in the chat. So I love to see it, man. The Senators are playing hockey that you can be proud of. They're strong defensively on their sticks, especially I felt like tonight for a lot of it. That Zub one late in the third period, huge. Because like the goal that went through him, like Cutter Gauthier dangling him, that whole play started because he missed his breakout pass and sent it all the way down the ice. So nice to see Zub battle through that and make a huge play at the end of this one that kept Ottawa ahead.
Yeah, I think Zub has had a stretch recently, especially. He's just been so good defensively. He's really finding his groove with Sanderson again. I think they were a little cold at the start of the year. Got caught a couple times, but they're just so good. They're such a good shutdown pair that, yeah, that was a fluky play off the rush. Like not the best back check from Cousins, and it's a tough one. Not one you're going to pinpoint and say the top pair got exposed there. But Zub's been unbelievable with Sanderson, and he's going to need to be because Matt and Paolo left this game shaken up. They're really thin on the blue line right now with Shabbat out, so they need their top pair, which they still have, which they should ride as much as they can.
No update from Travis Green after the game on Nicholas, Matt, and Paolo. We'll get to our SensCentral standouts in just a moment after this 3-2 win, but let's go through all these great locations the chat's watching in from. Ottawa, Calgary, Montreal, Victoria, BC, New Zealand, Arizona, Etobicoke, Boise, Idaho, Philly in the house, Nepean, Kitchener, Renfrew, Ireland, Toronto. We've got Texas. We've got Saskatchewan, another New Zealand, Gloucester, Wisconsin. Let's go. The Sens are global now, buddy.
How cool is that, man? That's awesome. At this hour, obviously Eastern time, it's late, and half those places you mentioned, Ross, are in different time zones. You and I are in a different time zone right now. Like how nuts is that? It's awesome what this team's doing to bring people together like that. Like wins do that, man, too. And this start has people jacked up as it should, man. They're riding that wave from the playoffs, making it for the first time in 8 years, which is hard. It's hard to do that coming off of such an emotional high. So I'm so impressed. Awesome to see Sens fans coming together, and appreciate everyone joining us here tonight.
9 different point scorers for the Ottawa Senators tonight. You love to see it. Goals coming from, in order, Nick Cousins, Shane Pinto, and Drake Batherson. Stick taps to Shane Pinto, his 10th of the season, hitting double digits. Got to feel good after inking that contract extension. Jack, your SensCentral standout tonight.
I'm going to go not too far from who you were just saying there, Ross. I'm going with number 12, Shane Pinto. He just finds ways to produce this season every single game. He's taken another step offensively, and why I wanted to mention him before you professionally transitioned into a break there. That was impressive what you just did. I wanted to mention Pinto because when the top guys for the Ducks were out there against anyone else on the Sens, they started to get some looks. But then on the road, Travis Green throws that line, Pinto, Amadio Giroux, every chance he gets. Ice time-wise, Pinto had a few less minutes than Stutzla and Batherson up front. But according to NHL.com, he had 31 shifts. Stutzla had 28. So that's how many times he's hopping over the boards to get out there for a matchup on the road. I love that out of Travis Green. I think he's gotten more aggressive with that this season because of how well Pinto has played offensively too, because he knows it's not just to hunker down defensively. So he's just the most versatile player on this team, I think Shane Pinto is, and that's not a far-fetched thing. So nice that he signed to an extended term now, and they can just kind of ride this center core, because watching all three every night come over the boards and just make things happen in their own way. Like, all three centermen had a moment tonight. And I don't know if you're going to mention one of the other two for your standouts, but I was just so impressed by Pinto. Obviously a huge goal on the power play. He's come through so many times this season already.
Yeah, he has, and he could have had a couple more tonight between the post and that blocker save on his chance in the third period. So I love that call from you there. And with Halliday kind of playing the McDermott role in terms of limited ice time, none in the third period, and Hayden Hodgson only had 2 quick shifts in the third period as well. So Ottawa was really playing down to 10 forwards for the majority of the second half of this game, and it was nice to see guys like Shane Pinto step up. My SensCentral standout tonight, it almost feels weird doing it because 9 guys had points tonight. This guy didn't have any, but you'd be remiss not to talk about Tim Stützle in this game. And you could parlay that. And you know what? Officially, I'll say Drake Batherson's my SensCentral standout because he scores the game-winning goal. But those two together were dancing tonight, especially Tim Stützle. I thought Batherson was also very, very good, but Tim Stützle played 22 minutes tonight. He was all over it, had 4 hits as well. It wasn't his perfect night in the faceoff dot based on his elevated standard now. It was only 43% there, but shorthanded on the power play. I was going to tweet out in the start of the third period, new game plan. Give the puck to Tim Stützle and get the hell out of the way, because he was ready to take it to the net. Thought he should have drawn a penalty there when he did in the second period. He was upset about that one. In the first period, he killed the last 45 seconds of that penalty all by himself. Love what I saw from Tim Stützle. So officially, I'm going with the guy who scored the game-winning goal, Drake Batherson.
But we mentioned it off the top, Ross. That goal doesn't happen without a nice face-off win from Timmy. He's a horse. He's just such a horse. It's the best way to describe him. I like that. Get out of the way if he's got the puck. I know that we were trying to on the PK. I know Gavin brought it up. It has been better recently. The PK, I think that rank league wide is going to be hurting for probably another couple months if they got to keep up a pretty significant stretch to battle that. But we were trying to do some research, you and I, earlier in the game about when the PK started to be better, because I feel like it's correlated with Stützle being out there every other shift on it. He's gotten more time shorthanded lately, and it shows in their PK because. Yeah, he might not be their best defensive forward overall. Like, Amadio is a better defensive forward than Stützle, but he has the puck on his stick all the time. It's the best defense. If he can go hunt one down, do what he did against Anaheim tonight, that's a perfect example of a great PK, is just killing time. So he's been so good, and it is a shame he's not on the score sheet. But again, not to keep going on Stützle, Ross, but like people have always mentioned.
Is he your second standout?
Sure. Yeah. We'll do another, not an official standout, but we'll talk about him the most. He doesn't need the points as much as I think people want him to have all the points, like a game like tonight, if he's playing like that 9 out of 10 times, I'm taking that. You know what I mean? He's generating, he's playing good defense. Like, he's a superstar, man. He's so good to have, and he's growing right in front of us.
Yeah, he is. Do you want to snap it around again quickly? Just a 2-liner on a player that impressed you tonight? Because there's a couple more that caught my eye.
Yeah, I'll go with Jake Sanderson, actually. I feel like he's kind of had an underrated start to the year, if that makes sense. So I was impressed by him. Obviously, the tying goal, he was great with
game-winning goal.
Game-winning goal. But he's looked a lot better with the puck on his stick. I think he was kind of struggling there for a few weeks, but he was solid tonight, I thought.
Yeah, my second will be Linus Ullmark, just the 2 goals against, both at even strength. And what really got me fired up about Linus tonight was in the second period, he made a save through a screen, no rebound. And teams have been trying to get bodies to the net. And you say that with every goalie, but Ullmark had the lowest save percentage on screen shots in the league for a long time this year. And to see him fight through that, and he also made a couple great saves. No chance on either goal. I mean, they're wide open nets after backdoor passes. I just thought he was phenomenal in this game, and would have been a cherry or 2 or 3 on top if he ends up scoring into the empty net. But I love the gumption to try that. If he had scored, he had to point at Radko Gudas. Like, you have to just point at him and say, hey, That's the same amount of goals as you have in how long? How long? But we didn't get to that point in this one. Linus Ullmark, though, will be my second SensCentral standout. We'll wrap up today's show with a couple stats you can use and also some love for Stephen Halliday, who's just such a great story. Passed over twice in the draft before finally being selected. And he was the 5th highest scorer in the USHL history, not just in a year, ever in his career. And then he goes, and from then, like, he got passed over twice, but then from there, it's like a perfect trajectory. 2 years at school, year and a little bit in the AHL, and you get your first look in the National League. You knew that he was on the Sens radar when they invited him to the golf tournament, where it was just a couple bubble guys were there. And in camp, they gave him looks with good players, but he tonight was great in his limited role, getting a huge goal, getting it set up. So want to give some love to Stephen Halliday there. And Jordan Spence with the secondary assist on the game winner. It's like he was just fine tonight. Like, he didn't do anything outrageous. He was fine. 7 points in 10 games to start his career with the Ottawa Senators. So those very impressive. And I'll just tack on the stat you can use because your standout, Jake Sanderson. This penalty he took in the first period, the first penalty of the season for Jake Sanderson, and it was after 462 minutes of playing defense against the other team's top players every night. Incredible.
Yeah, it gets so lost on people that Sanderson plays against the top competition every single night, much like Pinto, like I mentioned. I got one stat just to leave everyone with here, Ross, back on Linus Ullmark. I love that you mentioned him. We talked about him again a little bit. His last 4 starts, he's gone a 909, a 909, a 944, and a 920 tonight, save percentage-wise. That's 4 straight for Linus Ullmark. His average last season, I believe, was 909. So that's 4 technically above average games from Linus Ullmark from what we've seen. Let's just keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. What I love about this road trip, and I'll leave it on this, Ross, for me, I love that this road trip has no back-to-backs. They can still get in a little bit of a groove. It's a lot of travel. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be tiring. But there's no back-to-backs, which is actually kind of nice. They can kind of get in a rhythm. I'd like to see Levy get maybe 1 or 2, but Ullmark can really get a feel for it, just like he did at this time last year. And then we know what happened in December for Linus Ullmark in the Sens.
It was unreal. Leave me with this, Jack. What is one thing you'd like to see on Saturday in San Jose?
I'd like to see a top unit power play goal. They were close tonight, but I'd like to see them cash in. That was a second unit goal tonight. I'd like to see the big boys cash in on the power play.
Full game day, full weekend preview, I should say. No back-to-backs on this trip, so enjoy a Victory Friday, but we will preview Saturday's game in San Jose and look at some more storylines that came out of a 3-2 regulation win tonight for the Ottawa Senators. We'll also discuss tomorrow how that impacts the standings and the out-of-town scoreboard, which was extremely interesting on this Thursday night. For Jack Richardson, I'm Ross Levitan. You can find our social handles below. Let's get some Go Sens Go in the chat as we wrap up with some awesome supers from the listeners. Really appreciate that. Sens fans and Van Beauties. Sens not playing perfect D yet, but we love how they take pride in it. I noticed that myself. Happy to see that it's a common thread because these guys are going to battle every night. So we love to see it. They say we'll keep climbing the rankings as the games tighten up. Yashin to Duchesne, my guy, Tony. I love what I'm seeing from the late night postcast. Cheers to the postcast crew for being here, because without the postcast chat, the postcast might not be what it is. So we appreciate everybody who makes this what has been just so much fun to hang out with and vent or vibe after games. So appreciate the kind words and the coins in the guitar case. For tonight, we say goodbye. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Locked On Senators. 3-2 Sens get the victory in Anaheim. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.